Hey guys, it's Dustin. Today is April the 25th, 2017, and if you live in the eastern part of the United States, I'm sure you know it has been raining a lot these past few days. I live near the Yadkin River. It started flooding, all kinds of stuff going on, so it's been raining pretty hard. I got my sidekick out here, Willie, with me. I don't know what that was about. But, so the breeding loft, there's some stuff going on in there I'd like to show you. And aside from that, obviously by the fact that I've got a tarp on the top, it is leaking again. I'm going to have to clean it all out, and I'll go ahead and remind everyone, if you're new to keeping pigeons and you don't already know this, water is the last thing you want inside your loft. It makes a breeding ground for bacteria, parasites, fungus. And a wet loft is one of the biggest reasons for pigeons getting sick. And now Willie's on my head. Willie, get off my head. Come here. Yeah. It's fine for him to ride on my shoulder, but I don't want any poop on my head. So then I got my young birds out here. Here's my little brown roller. Then, if you remember, I've got several homers. There's that one there and that one there. Are not really trap trained to this loft yet, but they're probably going to be able to fly well enough right now that I want to make sure I trap train them with the look around. But then also, you'll remember I moved Ash and Minnie. Where's... oh, she's right there. Right there. That one right there with kind of the bronzish color on his chest. But they're old birds that I moved back out here, but they were trap trained to this loft previously, so I'm not concerned about them trapping into, or rather not trapping into the loft. So, oops, Mithley's trying to get out already. So I think, let me shut this door real quick. I think I'm going to stick my young roller and those other two young homers into this cage right here, so I can let the other birds out to fly. But I am going to start trap training them because, of course, I want them flying too. And while I'm thinking about it, I do have this young roller. I can't say roller at the moment for some reason. Yeah. Anyways, I've got it out here, and actually, its feathers don't look all that good. Actually, they look pretty bad. But anyways, it is not inherently bad to fly rollers and homers together occasionally, but if you do it too often, it won't go so well. The rollers can't fly as fast as the homers, so they'll wear themselves out trying to keep up. A lot of times the homers will cause them to fly lower to the ground, which can cause problems with them hitting things, stuff like that. So even though it's not a bad thing to do every now and then, and since they don't roll so much when they're young, I am going to let that one fly with my homers, at least for a little bit. But I wouldn't recommend flying adults together regularly. So I'm going to turn the camera off and do that, and then I'll take y'all. So I was actually able to just pick them up and let all the other birds out, and I was even able to keep Elvis, my white king, in there. And I think Bentley's joined me on my shoulder. I can't. Nope, that's not Bentley. That's Charles. Joined me on my shoulder. But there's the rest of the birds up there flying. It is nice to have a flock out now, and those are all my young homers, except for 4 of them are adults. And then I've got this young homer here and 2 more in there. And then, of course, I still got several more in here. But I think I should have a good flying team put together. I'm curious as to whether Willie will fly around with me. I want to see how much Willie will roll and tumble, actually. I think I just caught him do a backflip out of the corner of my eye. Y'all remember his father was... Look, Charles doesn't even want to fly. Charles is probably not going to race. I'll probably wind up trying to find a place for him as an inside pet with someone. Of course, I already have an inside pigeon, and I really only need the one. But y'all remember Willie's dad is a roller, and his mom was a Satinet, which was a purposeful breeding. I eventually want to make some frill stencil rollers. But now to get into the breeding loft, I've got this thing on the door, not to keep it shut, but because my door bends out a little bit and water gets in there. I put this lock on here. I don't guess I'll film me unlocking it, not that I care too much. The lock is mostly just on here because the little thing is loose, but Here's Willie. I'm curious to see what he does. He hasn't really flown around very much. He comes outside with me, but he doesn't ever really fly. Oh well. I'll probably go get him before I go into the loft. Take him in here with me. I don't like to leave him just sitting around. And turn my lock too far from there. I'll start this back when I get into the breeding loft. Willie actually came flying back over, and it is humid in here, which is not a good thing. I actually had these windows closed to keep more rain from blowing in, but as humid as, I mean, it just hit me as soon as I walked in. It is humid in here, and of course nothing's going to dry out as long as it's humid. But so I open these back up and start letting some of the air come through. I open my trap some, so that'll provide a little airflow too. Swift, which is mated to him, she's my blue grizzled hen, shot out the door the moment I opened it, which is partially because it's so humid in here and they probably don't like it. And again, she's also trap trained to that loft out there, so I'm not particularly concerned about the fact that she got out, but I don't like the fact that a pigeon got out of here. That's the first time in about 2 months that I've had a pigeon go by through the door, but she did it as soon as, and part of it was I had my camera in my hand, had Willie on my shoulder. I wasn't paying so much attention, but that should be okay. I don't know if y'all can really tell, but it is wet in here. If I do this, you can probably see how dark those pine shavings are compared to the ones right on the top, which are a little drier. So I'm gonna have to scrape all of this out, and hopefully I'll get it done this afternoon before I go to work, because like I said, wet lofts are a very bad thing, and I do not want to leave it like this any longer than I have to. Look, there's mold growing on this pigeon poop right here. That is not good. So I'm gonna try and get all this cleaned out. Take another look over here. It'll be easier for you to see now. So I'm gonna move her because she's just gonna beat up on me. But so one of these is gonna be blue based, and the other, I guess it's an recessive red, I think is what her mate's right there. It's gonna look like him. I think he's recessive red, bald headed. And then I actually started to take a video yesterday, but didn't finish it and didn't publish it. Come here. I have to move you too. The bottom of him is just damp. That is not good. But anyways, so these babies, this one is ash red. It looks like it's going to be ash red. Sorry. This one's going to be ash red. Obviously there's no black and white on the end of its beak, and you can already see the feathers are really light colored. Unless it winds up being white, but I highly doubt that. But as light as the feathers look already, it might be another ash red grizzle. But then the other one also looks like it's going to be a grizzle, but it's going to be a blue grizzle. You see the black and white on the edge of its beak, trying to keep Coco from going back in there. But and then you can see the dark flights on the end, but you can still see it has light body feathers it's going to. So that's going to be a blue grizzle. I'm excited about that. I like my grizzles. And again, their mom is a grizzle, and she's the one that just got out by me. You're not going to be able to tell anything about their babies yet. They just look like little naked baby pigeons. This one, as we can see, is going to be blue based. It actually looks like this one might be black. That would be nice. Then you can see a few white flights mixed in here, which would make sense since its dad is piebald. But I think it's from the piebald, not the tiger grizzle. But that might be from the tiger grizzle there. There's a little bit of white right there. We'll see how it looks when it gets older. Again, I'm wanting to make more tiger grizzles, which is what this one right here is. That's the hen. She doesn't like me. But then both of these babies have indigo, and I think they might both be blue. Let's set them right here where you can see. Hey, Willie. Willie's in here with me, but I guess I already told y'all that. So here's both the babies. Willie. That was interesting. Willie was starting to put his tail down low as he came up to him. That kind of is a cock thing to do, but which would be fine because I named him Willie. So you can see the reddish coloring on both these birds, which y'all could see in my earlier videos was very prominent when the feathers were starting to grow, because that was all that was showed at first because it's on the edges. But this one being so dark, you can see the little dark bits here, it's obviously going to be a blue check, but it's got indigo. So the checking on it, which is what makes this willy right here mostly black, that should be mostly a red color. And this one's lighter, but I don't think it's an ash red. I think it's just that it's spread. So I think they're both blue, which means they're both hens, which is fine by me. I like hens. Hens are harder to, it just seems like there's always a lack of hens in a loft. Any of y'all that have been keeping pigeons for a while, I'm sure you know what I mean. There's just always more cocks, so I'm fine with both those being hens. And I've had to ask before, how do you tell which one's the cock and which one's the hen? And the assumption was being made that there's always a, one of the babies is always a cock and one is always a hen. But that's not the case. Sometimes they're both cocks, sometimes they're both hens, sometimes it's one and the other. So here are these two older rollers. This one's of course a blue spread, which is black. It's got one white flight right here, and I think that's the only white feather on its body. Well, there's a little tiny white feather there, but it's mostly black. Whereas this one got pretty much all of the piebald from its dad, except for the head. But there is more white on the head. And I'm thinking this one might be an ash red spread, but it's a little hard to tell at this point. I'll be able to tell better when it's older. And again, their mom went ahead and laid 2 more eggs. I kind of figured that she would wait until they were a little older, but she didn't. That's fine though. But then these in here, I haven't banded them yet. Oh, and obviously I just banded those yesterday. These down here, I think this. So one of these homers and their mom is blue spread, which makes it black. One of them is black, and the other one is going to be a blue something. Actually, it looks like it might be a blue bar, which their dad is a blue bar. So there's those two. I'm glad that at least one of them wound up being black, because I want some black homers. I like my black rollers, and I'm glad I've got this one now, because I had 3, but then 2 died and 1 got carried off by a hawk. And again, they laid eggs up there. I think that's all for the breeding loft. And I'm trying to make this video fairly short, because again, I want to get to cleaning all this out. So pretty much most of these adult birds are going to go to the fly pen, because their babies are all older. I mean, she's going to have to, because there's no doors on them. Him, I mean, I'll just leave him in there with his baby. I'll leave April in there with her babies. I'll probably leave Coco. I'll leave, you know, I never did name him. I need to name him. And of course, she's going to have to stay. She's sitting on eggs. But, I mean, these babies don't need to be incubated, of course. The black hen can't fly. Y'all remember she hurt her wing, so I won't worry about doing anything with her. I'll just make sure the cock, which is that one right there, that he's in the fly pen. I'll shut them all up. But that one is going to be more difficult, because he's trained. He's a 2-year-old bird who was trained and raced by a man named Bill Sonder, and I know he used to live in California. So I don't know exactly how far away he lives now, though, because I got this one from my friend Rick, who got a bunch from the guy, and Rick actually had a couple get loose, but they went back to his loft, and he sent them back to Rick. So evidently they are trained to a loft that's close enough for them to fly to. But of course, with them sitting on eggs, I certainly don't want that happening. But I can't close them up in the nest box, because they didn't lay their eggs in their nest box. So I've got to wire a little white cage. This is actually a cage right here, and I just use the bottom. It's got grit in it that they decide to make their nest in. So I'll probably put that down on top of the grit container and lock it into place, and hopefully the birds don't get too scared, and hopefully they stay sitting on their eggs. So I'm just going to leave Willie in there for the moment, and then these birds already started trapping back in. Wasn't time for y'all to eat yet. Didn't call them down. There's the homer that got out. I'm going to try and let some of them back out. So, yeah, okay, that's Bentley. He's good. You're good to go out. You're good to go out. You're good to go out. You have to stay. You're good to go out. You can go out. And they're coming right back in. And see, there's not even any food in here, and she's coming back into it. And they think I'm going to feed them or something. Well, I mean, I am going to feed them, but they think I'm already feeding them. I'll go ahead and put them away though. Alright, I got my food now. See, she's the one I'm worried about, that one right there. She's been in the breeding loft so long. Anyways, put the camera down. I'm trying to give them plenty of food right now. Anyways. Get out of there. See how much food I dumped in here? You gotta get him to go out. There we go. Now to grab my king, which is currently the dropper in this loft. I just got a nice bit of pigeon poop on my arm. Sorry, I know this is a terrible video because I'm having to use this hand, but anyways. See, they're not even caring. Oh, she'll go in eventually, but do not like that she got out. See, that king's gonna try and breed her now. Thing is, she's not really hungry because I've been keeping tons of food in the breeding loft. And there go my Homer, white king. Try and get some of this poop off more. You got to go in the loft, birdie. Again, I like to keep all my birds tame so I can pick them up. And I may actually be able to get my hands on her. I'm surprised the Ash Redcock isn't. He's flirting. Come on, guys. Back to the loft. Making me walk in the muddy garden. I'm gonna have mud on my shoes, but oh well. Well, I've got to clean this. She'll either go back in there eventually, or, man, look at all this water running down the side of my loft. Thankfully, it's going down the side though, and not down the inside. But I'm gonna clean that, so I'm gonna have to cut this video short. She'll probably go in here. She's just not hungry is all right now. And even if she doesn't, I'm gonna have that door open, clean the loft. She may very well fly right in. I mean, she's not scared of me. My being there is not gonna stop her from going in. And again, I might be able to just catch her. She's a tame pigeon that I've had for years. This one that I hand raised. Here, Swift. Just walk her over. I'm just trying to do it. One hand. Come on, Swift. Oh, there's food in the pitcher. Come on. And there we go. She wouldn't go in because she's not hungry, but that is why I like to keep all my pigeons nice and tame. If you ever had that problem, them getting out, hope you remember that. This is a very tame pigeon, so stick you back in there. And that'll be all for now, guys. I think I showed you everything I want to show you, and if not, oh well, I'll show you in my next video. I will point out that I'm giving them more food right now because they actually the young birds got a little bit thin while I was training them. I didn't feed them quite enough. You got to find that balance there between feeding them enough they don't get thin, but not feeding them so much that they're not hungry. But I'm correcting that problem now. Mostly I just wanted them real hungry so they would go in when they weren't completely trained yet while they were training. Now that they are trap trained, is a completely different story. They do not need to be as hungry now. But I want to make sure they're trapping in quickly. That's a good habit for them to be in. I don't want them to come home from a race and sit around top of the loft. But we'll tackle that later on as we go. Right now I'm just trying to get all my young birds out and trap trained. I still got to build my flying loft. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed that. I know y'all, quite a few of y'all are enjoying my updates. It means a lot to see all the positive comments y'all give me. And again, be sure to let me know if there's something you want to see me film. I am going to film everything having to do with the young bird races. I filmed part of the old bird race, and that got a lot of you excited, asking for videos on how the scanning bands work, stuff like that. And I will go over that all when I do young birds, so don't worry, it's in the works. But do make sure to let me know if there's stuff y'all want to see, and I'll do my best to film it. But thanks for watching, guys. Take care.